I'm at one of our clients' houses, and before we decided to do any work here, we walked around with the Fluke VT04 visual IR thermometer and just took a look around with the heat on in the house to see if there are any hidden pipes, whatnot. This being a modular house, some of the layout is different than a stick-built house. So found some pretty interesting areas. This is the kitchen dining room area. Right under here, right behind my feet where I'm currently sitting, there's a spot where the IR showed a little bit more of a warm spot, a little bit more of a backed out view, but didn't know these pipes are underneath there. IR clearly shows that there's a heat bloom underneath this. This is right smack in the middle of the floor. Another area that I was kind of surprised with is this is down on the first floor, and we've got a heat bloom up here, which is actually up in the ceiling, and we can't quite see this very well in this image, but if we go to the Smart View software, what we're going to see is we can change the cameras from the thermal camera back out to the visual camera. It's the first floor right above the circuit breaker box. There's a closet to the right, and I can add the overlay back in. I can get you out of trouble before you start driving nails. Obviously, driving nails into an area right up above a circuit breaker box, but it just goes to show that there's a lot more behind the walls of what we thought. This is a good one. This is a bedroom. The baseboard in this room is down here on the right along the floor, and on the opposite side of this wall, right over here, there's a bathroom, and on this side over here there's actually a shower. So I would not have thought that there would ever have been any pipes running up. There is no baseboard down here behind where this bed is. So this is a real good example of what you can see in the walls before you start driving nails for hanging pictures or hanging shelves up into the drywall. Obviously, you try to use a stud finder and attach the studs on anything heavy, but if you're just using the drywall set screws, you can go in 3 or 4 inches. The toggle bolt, there we go, before the toggles will release, and then you can pull back and get the toggle in place to hold some weight. So clearly here, this is pretty close to the wall. This is a great example of what you can find before you get yourself in trouble and have some water everywhere. Here's another good example. This is back on the first floor. This is the little alcove where the washer and the dryer sit, but I wouldn't have expected to see any plumbing running along I'm going to call it the middle of the hallway. And if the customer wanted an extension of the wall put out, or cabinets up here that stick out that they can put their detergents or what in, that's an interesting spot that could cause some trouble. And this is just another shot of that kitchen. I put a partition in, and you use a couple 3-inch, 4-inch long nails or screws, you could wind yourself up in some trouble. Something interesting I saw was that, just for fun of it, I just took a picture of the kick space heater, and you can see how the heat is broadcasted out on the actual unit itself. Takes a moment to boot. Pretty easy to use once it's up and running. Example, we'll look at the kick space heater, and clearly we can see we got a good heat bloom. There we go, coming out from underneath there. You can also use this for measuring heat loss. It does self-correct on colors based on what. And if we look over next to that door, we can see we've got some heat loss on the bottom of the door, and also a little bit up on the upper left. Probably the gasket's getting worn. One thing that's interesting to know on these is the reflectivity of shiny devices. This is a stainless steel stove. It's not been used, and it's showing cold except for this area right here. That's actually reflection of the heater that's running. So it does take a little bit to get used to these infrared thermometers, just to see, just so you can use them accurately. If you like this little demonstration of what we can find for surprises, just a little bit of homework can save a lot of mess. Back in the kitchen and found something kind of interesting. I did a picture of two lights above the counter, and they're the older compact fluorescent light bulb, and you can see the one here on the right has got quite a bit different heat bloom than this one. So I looked at it a little bit closer, and the room itself is about 60 degrees. The ballast up here is about 70 when I got a little closer, and this one was 103 degrees. So my guess is this one on our left, the ballast is starting to fail because it's 30 degrees warmer than the other one. And standing back with a critical eye, I could definitely notice a difference in light. Is quite a bit dimmer than the one here on our right. These ballasts are actually just located physically above the light themselves, a little bit more in the socket. So that was kind of an interesting little bit of information. So I hope this video of our little demonstration of the Fluke visual thermometer was helpful. We use it mostly for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning diagnostics, but once in a while we use it in a situation like this, and hopefully get ourselves out of some trouble.